Hey, welcome back, everybody. This is Chris Comments, show of common sense on common ground. It is Tuesday, August 23rd, 2022. This site called the Deluxe Edition. This person called, and I do apologize if I mispronunciate this. I'm more than likely going to. Samya Krishnaworthy, Krishnamurthy. This lady's brought out this article entitled Quiet Quitting is Doing Your Job Exactly How It Should Be Done. Okay, it's a hold on. Better. Here we go. This is an article that I really got to agree with. It's called Quiet Quitting, and in this day and age it is very important. I'm going to read the article and then just let you know my feelings like normal. Because this is the show Common Sense on Common Ground, where I'm taking a step back after touching on the subject and telling everybody what the majority of the people feel. And that's basically because there's so many people out there that are going through these extremes and looking down at it and looking at it, as this sign of doomsday and everything. And it's just kind of silly until you hear it from people like you and me who are taking a step back and noticing this kind of thing. This person, Samya Krishnamurthy, she seems to be right on par when she says this. The article reads as following. I've edited a little bit, but to fit the time here. The secret's out after realizing that hustle culture is a one-way ticket to burnout, mental health issues, and premature signs of aging. The hottest trend in the workplace is quiet quitting. The phrase comes from the kids on TikTok, where you're not outright quitting your job, but you're quitting the idea of going above and beyond at work. You're still performing your duties, but you're no longer subscribing to the hustle culture mentality that work has to be your life. The reality is it's not. And your worth as a person is not defined by your labor. The concept is simple enough. Do your job, but don't kill yourself. Going above and beyond is optional, not mandatory, and as many of us have been indoctrinated to believe. And if your job expects superhuman commitment, then you better be compensated like one. For example, overworking only gets you so far, and like a lot of us have experienced in the past few years, mental and physical health really takes a backseat to productivity. In a lot of these structured work environments, quiet quitting is resonating in a big way. It's easy to conflate quiet quitting with glamorizing underperformance, but this isn't about discouraging ambition. You should dream big, but spend those extra hours having fun, pursuing passions and hobbies, and build your personal brand. Okay, now that's incredible. This is a prime example right here, this podcasting thing. Musicians, actors, people with hobbies that are making money on the side. It's not that I'm coming. Part of for the water intake. It's just hot out here in Texas. I know someone that's doing bakery goods, and I know another person that's doing the squeegee thing, where they're putting names on like shopping bags and T-shirts and stuff. And they're doing pretty good on the side, making that coin. I know somebody that sells coffee. I used to sell coffee with her. She's a second cousin of mine. And I used to sell coffee with her. She's actually way pursued it better than me, And here I am just doing this thing on the side, this voicing the opinions where, again, most people out there are going to the extremes and are claiming that that's the way to go. Carrying on with this article, as expected, those in the C-suite are fighting this, calling it a really bad idea. Most of these business owners are saying people that go beyond to try to solve problems for the organization, their teams, their managers, their bosses, those are the ones that succeed in life. Okay. Most of those business owners benefit from sweat equity and their employees. I probably should have said it after I made my comment. But how many of these employees ever see even a sliver of that wealth? Okay, now back to this other portion. People that go beyond, people up in the business, higher wealthy business class are saying it's a bad idea, and that people that try to solve problems for the organization, their teams, their managers, their bosses, those are the ones who succeed in life. And this is exactly what I was talking about when I said not going your own way. This is exactly what they talk about when this the person that wrote this article said you should dream big, but spend those hours having fun, pursuing passions, hobbies, and build your personal brand. I'm doing this off of my own show. Despite the fact that I'm not selling anything like the way most podcasters are. They're trying to make money. They're trying to make more money, not just off of ratings, but off of t-shirts that they sell, their brand names and all this stuff. I haven't gotten that far because, once again, all I am is just a guy that's taking a third person look at everything and stating what I see, as opposed to just following some rhetoric or looking at some others' ideas and going along with either or. Again, pardon the water. Which again, to those that are working under somebody else's ideas and all this good stuff, they're usually just employees, and the sweat equity is more or less what the business owners profit off of. They're the ones that are banking big, while everybody else is just getting by, which leads to the next part of the article. Many employees know firsthand the obscene discrepancy between those at the top and everybody else. People slog for years in unpaid internships, entry-level positions, and middle management. Hamsters on a wheel to nowhere. Now, that's not my words. It's her words. And damn well put, Miss Krishnamurth. Damn well put. Hamsters on a wheel to nowhere. Budgets get cut while execs spend millions on vanity projects and ego stroking. We all know that. We all see the lifestyles of the rich and famous, the crazy rich Asians and all these people. These are all people that have banked big off of the sweat equity of their employers, of the employees, and have done nothing but profit, while everybody else suffers budget cuts. Crazy rich people, the people of the lifestyles of the rich, the Real Housewives, anything else concerning business managers that have made it big and all this stuff. The Apprentice, all off of the workers. Big profit off of the workers that have not done much except cause stress levels to the employees. Employees live with the constant fear of the next round of layoffs. Many can't even do the basic adulting, like purchase a home or have a real retirement savings. Preaching to the choir. Like, I was living out of a duplex community where I got into a car wreck. I couldn't work because the car was out of commission and I couldn't keep up with the rent, so I got evicted. But I was supposed to be saving up while getting a house of my own, building up credit and everything. And I wound up getting smacked down. This eviction wound up costing me also, and having a real retirement savings, boy, you are not kidding. With inflation and everything before inflation, where everything is calculated for you, the worker who lives paycheck by paycheck, ergo, major corporations and industries get to dodge the blame for why nobody can save any money, Sorry about that. It's hard to put money on the side. It's hard to put it on the side and develop a retirement savings. For the most part, it has to be done with a spouse, or even a girlfriend, boyfriend, or whatever. But most of the time, somebody where you're in a serious relationship, and where both paychecks go into play, and to top it all off, it has to be mutual. It has to be the effort of both the man and the woman. You can know guys like me who used to just handle all the bills and all this good stuff, while my ex-wife, she worked, yeah, but she tended to whatever her needs that she needed, also pertaining to her two kids, while I just forked over my check to her, and rested in the house, didn't complain about the cooking and all this good stuff, because that wasn't my job. That was my job was to come in and fork over the checks, and then live like be happy making her happy. I can't live like that anymore. Nobody can live like that anymore in the real world. All the management now has to go with both man and woman, and it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of this and that. Maybe it's just me not getting used to, because I'm of my old traditional methods. But that being said, it turns out to be way more manageable when both spouses, not just the man and the woman, but the man and the woman and the woman, spouses in particular, couples, work together to make their future, especially when it comes to their retirement. It's very difficult for the guy to be the head honcho and build all the stuff, and the degrees of that. Like, I would be considered a wuss or whipped by just simply work and turning over my paycheck to my wife, which technically I don't see it as that. I see it as me just not stressing over the little things. That's her job. All I have to do is just keep working and bringing in the checks. That's all that I saw it as, and I can go back to being just the king of his castle by sitting down and enjoying my TV and my food and all this good stuff, and my woman, Plus, I also saw it as a benefit for any time that her children, they were technically her children, that she gave birth to through her first husband, being there for her two children whenever they needed me. I had helped them with some repair work in their furniture. I had helped with adding furniture, putting up a shelving unit up in the walls, and teaching them how to use the power tools to do it, and stuff like that. Just little minuscule stuff like that. But it was always eye-opening, for the kids, especially when it was not just my ex-wife, but previous ex-girlfriends, where their kids, lived in accordance to their moms, and their moms didn't know how to do anything except call somebody for service. To pay for your bathroom tub, your tub to be unclogged, as opposed to getting that snake that you just slide into the plumbing pipe, and then you pull out all the hair and the gunk and all that stuff yourself. It costs like a couple of bucks for one of those. And I've had a girlfriend that didn't know how to do that, and then I did it in front of her, and she did it for her kid. And it was everything was cool. I had a girlfriend that didn't know how to turn off the water with the two valves underneath the kitchen sink. I had one that didn't know how to change a light bulb in a refrigerator. She didn't know it. She never bothered to look into it, and she didn't know what a refrigerator light bulb was. She didn't know that it's no different than any other light bulb, where you got to read the little stamp on the bulb. And I don't mean to laugh, but it now that I'm remembering it, it's it's kind of silly and everything. But when you've got that relationship going, you should always work together on managing everything together. And it turns out that's the better way to do things. Me just being the guy that's available for whenever the family needs me to be available. Guys like me, we're just sort of being phased out now. And it's not really society's choice. It's the high cost of living. It's the price to pay for the high cost of living and carrying on and moving on. The old traditional ways of my life is starting to fade. And my next relationship, it's got to be a little bit more hands-on with the budgeting and all this good stuff. And as opposed to just saying, here you go, babe, and then letting her, fix it out, work it out, I'll go change the oil on your car, you take care of that bills. Somebody like me can't exist anymore in this world. But back to the article, yeah, I mean, it just pays to work together and benefit together off of this stuff and the high costs of living and everything. And the final comment at the very end of the and to work on your retirement together. The final comment at the end of the article: don't confuse your self-worth with a company's net worth. Okay. It's all good advice. I agree. This is one article that I agree 100% with. You really can't go breaking your back and all this good stuff for bullcrap pay and no credit and no reward for your work tenor, and your good record, or even if you have a roller coaster record. It's the simple fact that you yourself are going through the years, you're going through the motions, you're going through the problems of your company that's being thrown onto you. And the simple fact that those that are telling you these bad newses and good newses and bad newses again and all this stuff, they're the ones going out on these vacations and weekend getaways, and they've got the money to do so. They're the ones that are enjoying it no matter how many people get laid off every quarter year. They're the ones, they're not stressing and stuff like the way you are. Quiet quitting is the best way to go, especially because you can't do all of the so-called solve problems for the organization, their teams, their managers, and their bosses to succeed in life. If that's not giving you success, then what the hell are you doing it for? You know what I'm saying? If you're not getting paid, if they're not rewarding you and paying you for going above and beyond, dude, quiet quit. Quiet quit. That's a very good way to go. That's a very good way to go. And don't forget, I mean, in this day and age, you got to have like 2 jobs in order to get by. And if you're not doing 2 jobs, then at least, hang on to that one woman or that one man, whatever preference you are, who's working with you, to where those both paychecks actually go together and help both of you move on and carry on in life. Technically, this is the steps that people like my mother and father, who are in their 70s and still together, these are the steps that they took in order to maintain this entire time. So it's a real good way to handle yourselves, no differently than our parents, and the way that we to this day are in this day and age are starting to view the ways of handling today's times and being able to progress. You'll find that very, very helpful, to quiet quit with your main job and to work your second job or your private business, or however it is that you're making an extra buck. Do it. I mean, it's because it's all the week. And if you're gonna go that route, you might want to try to remember the keynotes that I've been saying for quite a while through other posts when it comes to business, when it comes to money, when it comes to personal income that you're making through your own efforts, your own profits. Always use correct weights and balances. Spendings, profits. Use your better judgment on that. You have to, no matter how much money you think you're going to be making, you have to take a step back and look and say, wait a minute, am I making, 5 C notes at the cost of 3 or 2 or 4? To all you're left with just this one $100. You got to use your weights and balances. You got to see how much you're spending and how much you're making, and you got to use your better judgment into making sure that you come out on top. And to be honest, this is exactly what most business owners are doing when they say that you got to go above and beyond for my company. Okay, for my business, you have to go above and beyond, and that's the only way you're going to succeed in life. This, again, despite the fact that your sweat equity is going to that business owner's wealth, and you, the employee that's going above and beyond, is not seeing a sliver of that wealth. You're not looking at anything. You're not the one going out on your weekend getaways on this year's truck and trailer model. You're not the one that's taking the weekend, taking the week and a half trip to Italy. You're not the one that's doing that. You're not even Cancun, which is on this side of the world. You're not doing that. Not off of your paychecks. No. Not like the business owners that are telling you to go above and beyond your duties. You're not the ones profiting. You're not doing that like the way they are. Hell, even if you get a trip to Italy, you're still not enjoying it the way the business owner that's profited off of your sweat equity is doing. Shoot, I don't know who you kidding. Don't confuse your self-worth with the company's net worth. It's a very good rule of thumb. It's a very good rule of thumb to go by. Quiet quitting is a very good method into maintaining. You can't stress over this stuff. Not over the stuff that you're not getting rewarded for. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Don't beat yourself up. So, that's my spiel right there. Sorry about the personal info about previous relationships, but I had to get the point out, especially once that subject of retirement and purchasing a home came up. Excuse me, sorry about that. Had to burp. That stuff, it's getting a whole lot more challenging, and there's obstacles, and I can't say a whole bunch more obstacles when it's the same old obstacle. It's the budget cuts and the management deniers, because there's a oil problem in Russia, and all this stuff, and at the same time you're with the agricultural, you're in a packaging plant or a warehouse having to hear this kind of garbage about Antifa or some woke, the gays are getting married over there in California. There's people butt humping each other over there, and that's why we're no longer fitting the bill on our part for retirement. You're on your own. What? I know that's what you just said, but that is how it goes. They'll make up excuses after excuse. The Chinese are on the march. There's 2 birds pecking a cat. I got to get involved. All this other crap. And by the way, we don't have any more OT and bonuses for you. So yeah, moving on. That's the crap that you all are going through right now. The crap that I willfully left for this rideshare business. And don't get me wrong, I've always enjoyed driver jobs. I've always enjoyed talking. I've never had a problem with communicating with complete strangers, even in my car as this job. With this job, I got the best of both worlds, where I normally wouldn't. If this hadn't come out and I got another driver job, it would be a delivery thing, and I really wouldn't be communicating with anybody, which sucks. But here I get to communicate with everybody, and I won't accept quiet mode. I communicate with everybody, and again, I get to drive around and get to relook at my state of Texas. I see it's gotten overcrowded. It's gotten very crowded down here these days. But yeah, I mean, I'm just, I'm doing my bizwax here. And if I still had to work the 9 to 5 and all that, something that most of you out there are accustomed to. You're accustomed to supervision. You're accustomed to working for a leadership of some sort position. You're accustomed to problem solving stuff, whatever that problem solving thing is. You're accustomed to team management and team plays. That's fine. I used to do that myself. But at the same time, I see that you guys are accustomed to all the babbling bull crap that goes on between you and management. Not to say that stuff doesn't exist here. I also, as a rideshare driver, I'm not going to say which company, but I also, as a rideshare driver, don't have a retirement savings. I'm on my own with that. I also don't have paid sick leave. We drivers are on our own with that also. So I understand what you're going through, but I see that you guys are doing it on one foundation where it doesn't have to be, where if you could actually be above and beyond, your productivity could be very rewarding. Instead, you're having to hear periodic bull crap, one thing after another. Obama wants everybody that has less than 300, that has more than 300 employees, for every business to pitch in to the healthcare accordingly, but only if you have 300 or more employees. If you have 300 and less employees, you don't have to worry about that. And everybody's just went up in an uproar, especially one of the places that I used to work in, where we started to see the all this big giant manufacturing assembly just reduced down to the smallest of the smallest skeleton crews. I saw quite a few good workers get released. So I just really, I see the BS that you guys are going through here in San Antonio. There's one of the Amazon's warehouses. They painted the front curb a fire zone, which was strange because there's nothing flammable at the front of the warehouse. Say in the distribution area where all the smokers are, I could see it happening. In the distribution area where there would be a broken truck or something with a burning engine, sure. In the distribution area where something might fall, we're trying to lift it on a pallet jack and it's too heavy and it tips over, I could see that being a danger. But the very front, there was no danger. And rideshare drivers like myself can't pull up to the door to have employees jump in and then we take off, because they said it's a fire hazard, no parking there. So I had to, the rule is that I have to go into a parking lot and find a parking spot and wait for them in there, which just adds nothing but confusion. And they don't even have their parking lot areas labeled, to where I could say I'm in lot E. I'm right in front of the pole that says, A, or 1, whatever number. I'm in front of the number 5 post. There's nothing like that. It just adds complication. But it adds more complication because I won't accept any rides from Amazon anymore because of this babbling bullcrap that Amazon is doing to their employees. Because it's not just for rideshare drivers, it's for anybody that they want to has to get a ride to get picked up and dropped off. There's no area where there's no drop off and pick up areas. assigned. And in this day and age, where rideshare apps and all this stuff, where people have been dropped off and on from the very beginning, since warehouses and all this good stuff, since the cars, there should be an area where people are dropped off and picked up. SeaWorld has got a drop off and pickup point in the same employee parking lot. Amazon is a company that makes a hell of a lot more money every year. They should be able to, they should be able to have a spot on the side, but they don't. And I won't go there anymore. I won't accept them. Why? Because that's BS that they're throwing on their own employees that for some reason are dragging us rideshare drivers involved. I'm pulling up to pick up somebody and the employee's going, "Can you pull up into a parking lot?" I'm like, "You're right here. What are you talking about?" "Well, we can't jump on and off here because of this fire zone. So can you pull up over there into a parking lot? Can you put yourself in a parking space, please?" And I said, "No, I can't do that. If you can't just jump on and off, no differently than we're doing in front of a hotel, even though there's a valet, but even without the valet, people are walking over to the sidewalk area to get away from the congestion of the valet. The Amazon warehouse is not a hotel with 10,000 conventioners. So the congestion shouldn't be there to begin with. Much less should it be a fire hazard, for an employee to come off and on." So I turned it down. I said, "No, I'm not going to do it." He says, "Well, I can't get in." I said, "Well, bye." So I canceled his request and took off. That BS is what manufacturing, assembly, well, not just manufacturing and assembly companies, all major companies and corporations are doing to their employees. Welcome aboard. "Oh, but you can't park there. You can't be picked up and dropped off here. You got to have them do this or do that. You got to follow a system. Your loved one can't come pick you up and take off with you, or just simply drop you off and take off. Your loved one has to go this system of going over here or over there and all this other shit. Park in a parking spot and not block any entrance." Toyota is a giant manufacturing company. They don't even have that restriction. I can pull up literally up there and drop somebody off or pick somebody up and take off. Plain and simple. So Amazon, to hell with them, or at least to hell with this Amazon, because there's like about 4 of them. But I've only been at one where this kind of rule applies, and it's just BS. It's obviously going to be a matter of time before it becomes a problem, and they remove the red curb, the red painted curb, and start putting assigned drop off and pickup points. It's just a matter of time before they do that. If not, they're just making things complicated for their employees and trying to drag other workers like myself, possibly food trucks, possibly shipping and delivering trucks, giving them problems on how many trucks can come in and out, which honestly I think is probably not going to happen given the fact that they are a warehouse distribution. But I won't hold it past them because they're just referring to truckers. Truckers have to wait and pause and all this good stuff before they can tend to business. It's just another complicated mess that not just warehouse and workers, but any distribution and any corporation is creating for their employees because they can. There is no above and beyond necessary when you've got by design, the corporations by design complicating everything. So this quiet quitting, where you're still performing your duties, but you're no longer subscribing to the hustle culture mentality that work has to be your life, that makes total sense. That makes total sense. Do your job, but don't kill yourself. That makes total sense. Going above and beyond is optional, but not mandatory, as many of us have been indoctrinated to believe. that makes sense. There's no point in doing that when you've got a company that's designed to screw things up. It's the same reason why so many people are jumping in my ride, particularly in fast food restaurants and stuff. They're jumping in my ride, quitting the very same day because of the simple fact that the bosses are having them being very upset with them not hustling or doing anything extraordinary, when all they're doing is flipping burgers like the way they're supposed to. The people are just being very, very intentional. And this isn't my word. This is coming from the employees that are quitting. There's favoritisms. There's less work for people that bosses call friends or whatever. And then there's the harshness, the rudeness to people that, especially the ones that are quitting, that are newcomers and just want to live a good life of making an honest living, and they're being treated like crap. There are people that are wiping down the counters and picking up a broom and mopping, wiping down tables and all this good stuff, and then they get written up for not wiping the windows, or for not cleaning the windows or something, or not being able to fit it in their time because the next wave of customers came, and in comes a rush, and they're cooking. There's a lot of that stuff that's going on, and I don't understand why, but that's the way that they're doing it. I've seen it at a couple of gas stations where there's a happy worker, restocking the shelves, and a couple of people come in, like 4 people. I'm already on my way to the line and all this stuff to join them, and I'm hearing the head cashier going, I need you up here, I need you up here. And here comes the person, hi, okay, let me go ahead and get to work. I needed you here yesterday. I already needed you up here now, and all this good stuff. And that poor little worker is just like, I'm sorry, what the hell, and it's bullcrap, because a lot of people could say, well, that's where everybody should step up. The worker can't be lazy. The worker wasn't being lazy. The worker was actually restocking on his or her free time, and for the head cashier to be a bitch or a bastard, whichever, because I've seen both, to that newcomer who was already stocking everything up, wiping stuff down and cleaning, to hear that person get short with that new worker, you're not in the Marines, people. You're a gas station attendant. Just call the person over, have that person open up the cash register, and let them work. Quiet quitting was also something that was sort of brought in to question earlier this morning, when after I vacuumed out the car and washed it, I go to the gas station to get my breakfast and load up on fuel. And while I'm doing that, the brand new worker there at this gas station that I go to was just stating the fact that she couldn't get, I think she wanted me to refer to her as a he, because she was dressed like a guy, so I'm going to call her a he, okay? He couldn't get the food up and running and the stuff stocked and all this stuff in a timely manner because the customers kept coming in and out. And he said it as if it was sort of a brand new thing, like almost as if he was expecting that to be somebody else's responsibility while he managed the cashier and everything behind the counter. Now, this was around 3 o'clock in the morning, because I always start my day at 4 in the morning, but I load up and clean up and gas up around the 3 o'clock hour. And I sort of, pointed out the time, And she was like, yeah, because it's always dead around here. And I said, yeah. And I told him, well, one thing I noticed is gas station operations, it keeps you moving back and forth because of those little duties. I noticed you guys are, you got your hands full, She's all, yeah, man, you know how it goes. I said, no, yeah, I completely understand and, respect. And that kind of picked up the spirits, and she, kept working, with a smile on her face, all right, well, we'll catch you later, man. I was like, you bet. And then I, took off because I grabbed my food from there, and then I went to go put my fuel up the car and take off, But in a way, it seemed like quiet quitting was a subject in there, but it seemed like this person didn't have much experience and was sort of like going with a confirmation to see if, does this sound right to you? And what she was saying did make sense, because the duties of tending to the gas station requires, not just counter work, but, stocking, changing out the coffee, all that stuff. Once you're put in that position, you're in charge of handling everything that's in there. It's your duty and all this good stuff. But the thing is that, where quiet quitting comes into play is you don't break your back, doing this. You don't kill yourself doing it. You tend to it in portions like the way you should, take care of everything in portions, and that's the, that's one aspect that, I can respect. Now, if she was being yelled at for not doing everything in the kitchen where the pizzas and the burgers and the sandwiches are being made, well, that's a cook thing, and those hours aren't open, But if they're trying to get on her for, well, clean up the mess that the kitchen people made after it's closed, that's wrong. Start up the stoves and the ovens, that's wrong. Because those are all kitchen duties where you really need somebody in there to manage all that. What if there's a gas leak? The last thing you want is some kind of spark to be triggered. What if there's a grease fire? You can't have that just spark up without your knowledge while you're tending to everything in the rest of the place. What if you're out cleaning toilets while this happens? Or just simply wiping everything down? The kitchen is an entirely different aspect. You gotta be smart about this kind of stuff, and it's in that where people who walk out, request an Uber, jump in my car and say, dude, these mother lovers over here are getting me to do this stuff that's borderline dangerous and mishandling. And when they find that I'm not, tending to the grease pit that's cooking, that's frying stuff, when I'm handling the fryers and stuff, they're getting all pissed off at me, and that's just wrong. And that employee is correct. It is wrong. It is wrong. You can't be going through that kind of garbage. And the business manager should know better. The business manager and business owners should know better than to be putting that kind of crap onto their employees. A lot of this frowning at them, well, you should go above and beyond and all this other stuff. Yeah, but at the same time, this person that just quit shouldn't have to be quitting because of write-ups and scoldings and favoritisms and just plain crap attitude for doing those tasks. Okay, what do you want? You want the person back in the kitchen to fix things up, or do you want them up here at the front keeping an eye on everything while stocking and tending to the cash register? Because it can't be both. It can't be both. You can't have them doing that. And technically these business managers know this. These business owners know better than to be doing stuff like that. Currently, there's very few laws that are keeping them from being douchebags. Discriminative, no. There's plenty of laws to prevent them from being discriminative. But being dickheads and douchebags, well, you know, there's very little laws that are protecting the employees from that. The maltreatments and stuff. So, hence the reason for all the quiet quitting, where you're just doing your job, the basics, and that's it. You know, not going above and beyond, especially for companies that are not rewarding the employees for going above and beyond. I've been there. You people are currently going through there, and it's a pain in the butt, but it's something that you have to do. It's something that I completely agree with. As a person that's been there, taking a step back and looking at all the bull crap that you're going through. Okay, I agree with you. I say, maintain. I say maintain, hold, and maintain, and keep doing it. Especially now that it's part of society. Especially now that it's a part of society, because once these business owners who are demanding that you go above and beyond while treating you like crap, and then to top it all off, not even rewarding you for your efforts or paying you accordingly for your efforts, once they get pissed off with you, they can fire you, and that's where discrimination comes in, and you, the employee, has an angle, has something, a solid leg to stand on, into making sure that you're no longer hurt or affected by this kind of bull crap that's going on. Okay, it's a horrible way to go. It takes a lot of time and patience, because anything concerning the courts takes a lot of time and patience. And the only people that really do have that kind of time and patience are the punks that'll abuse the laws permitted. There are people that have claimed that an air conditioning cleaning was responsible for an allergic reaction, and the only thing that can save them is $1 billion, or else they'll sue. Okay, those punks are the ones that I'm talking about. You guys are already making sure you guys are already different from that. You're not those punks. As sure as you went there to try to work your decent wages, your decent cost of living, and all this stuff, but are forced to reply and abide by the rules of thumb, particularly pertaining to quiet quitting. That's a huge difference between you and some punk that's trying to, commit to lawsuit abuse. You have every right to stand for yourselves. You have every right to only do what you're going to be paid for. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. So yeah, that's the bottom line. I hope I've covered almost every angle that I can think of that pertaining to this. I think I did. I'm not really sure, but that's the spiel right there. You guys are completely in the right for doing this, and I hope you all stay strong. Hopefully this will pan out, and business will start to, smarten up, or you yourself will be leaders of your own businesses, and you can actually do the rewarding for those that are going the extra mile, as opposed to saying, well, I'm your employer, you work for me, and all blah blah and all this other crap, and like it. Hopefully you won't not follow in those footsteps and actually do things the right way. Okay, so this is Chris with Chris's Comments, signing out. Y'all take care. Stay safe out there. We got droughts. We got flash flood of rains in certain areas. We got a whole lot of crap going on. We got some people that want a civil war, which again is not going to happen. I've already discussed that before. There's not going to be a civil war. There's just going to be some cheap punk with a gun. There's going to be some douchebag to society with a gun that's going to kill a bunch of defenseless children. That's it. That's all that's going to happen. It's going to kill a bunch of defenseless Mexicans at a Kmart, or Walmart, whatever, some shopping center. That's all that's happening. There's not going to be a war. There's just going to be another douchebag to society, mass shooting defenseless people. That's it. That's all that's going to happen. It's not going to be because you people are quiet quitters. No. There's not going to be any devastation for you living the quiet quitting life, especially in this day and age. The world is not going to come to an end. It's a bunch of BS. Okay? Stay true, maintain, and just keep maintaining, okay? We'll see y'all later. This is Chris Comments signing out. Have a good one.